Hello teacups, what's brewing? Welcome back to the channel. Please excuse the everything of this. I've been in this makeup since about 6:30 this morning. Sitting there, minding my own business, in the midst of writing the 250 report cards I need to have done by the end of the week. I've got a lesson observation on Wednesday. I've got a field trip to take on Thursday. When I say this week had a lot going on, that was one of the reasons I was pushing out the content so much last week, because I was like, okay, I probably won't have much time this week. And then Foodie comes on in here with an I'm going to Canada video. Fine, we'll react. Oh man, I just realized I've split open my, what is this? Phone case. Jesus, that was harder than it should have been. So I don't know exactly what time. It says about an hour ago, but I was just flipping through YouTube to try and procrastinate on my work. And here we are. It's already 7:10. I don't really have the time for this, but how could I leave it? Now, she did put out another piece of content that I didn't cover because of aforementioned reasons. Just getting a bit angry with the reaction channels, really, and that wasn't unexpected. I've always said, people in the community have always said, she has a lot of trouble. Whenever she goes onto a new diet, she removes the only coping mechanism she has. And so her emotions become very difficult to handle. And so we start seeing what she termed grief. We start seeing the anger more regularly and more, I was going to say irregularly, and then that didn't really make sense. Her anger becomes more volatile because she doesn't have the soothing mechanism of food to drown it out. And that's why she brought up, apart from the fact that it's just a paying time of year, that's why she brought up her grams. That's why she got angry at reactors again. Because when she loses something, she has no delineation in her emotions and the cause of those emotions. She's just this one big ball of feelings. And so any grief is every grief. So she's feeling the loss of food, and so she's feeling the loss of everything. Every anger, why can't I eat? This isn't fair. Other people eat. It's not fair that this is happening to me, even though she ate herself into this, I'm sorry to be unkind, becomes every anger she's ever had. And so the feeling triggers every other time she's had that feeling. And so you see all the grudges that she usually brings up about these things. So usually in her general cycles, after she gets mad, she takes a break from the internet. She did upload. When did she upload that video I just mentioned? Was it 2 days ago or was it one? Time zones, I'm not sure. Excuse me, just sneezed. Had to cut it out. She was answering a few comments. There was a rumor going around that she was part of an MLM because she had mentioned going to a seminar. I know Pulpy made a joke about it in his stream. I don't know if he's the one who inadvertently started it. And she was using a lot of kind of those sort of influencer friends as of, oh, so much energy and the things you say when you're trying to shill a product like that. Health supplements and things like that. To be honest, before that part of the conversation in the community, I had thought that when she said seminar, because she started to say I and then said we, I assumed she had meant like a seminar for diabetics, something for the doctors. Like the doctor had ordered her to go to it, or she'd asked for help and that's what the doctor had given her. Because you can see when she's being forced to face a little bit too much reality, and that is very prevalent in this video. Now, there's been an ongoing speculation in the community of when she's going back to Canada. This has been happening since she got to Kuwait. Now, this is our answer apparently, but before we start it, do remember the last time she was like, oh, I might go back to Canada next week, because I guess she'd had a fight with Salah or something. The next day she did recant it. So that could easily happen here. She is prone to big emotions and quick decisions. But let's get into this video and then we can keep talking. Don't actually know if I'm enough to the side to put it there now.
Hi, this is editing Foodie Beauty here. So,
hi, editing Foodie.
I'm editing, and since I made this video, since I filmed it, I talked to Salah and I made the decision that it's sadly probably better for me to go back to Canada for a while to seek some much needed medical care. And
Okay, so I didn't quite hear the first sentence when I first watched this, because I watched it literally, turned on the camera, and here we are. Haven't had much processing time. But I did think that this part of the video was filmed later and then tacked onto the front, so that because she hadn't explained it later in the video, just that she was thinking about it. So this beginning is actually the conclusion she came to. Can we talk for a minute about the not unexpected, but the absolute audacity of the fact that she doesn't pay her taxes properly and yet is going back to Canada, the place where she doesn't support that system, to pursue medical help? Now, I do believe, given her lack of status in Kuwait, or what I believe to be her lack of status, which we will get into later, that she couldn't afford to pursue these things privately in Kuwait. I think it would get very expensive. So it doesn't necessarily surprise me that after thinking about it, she's like, no, realistically, this is the only way. But let's just go into her plans, because when I say I have severe doubts, like, she has hit what she thought to be rock bottom before, and nothing has changed. I'm not sure she's capable of change, but apparently this has scared her enough to at least move her back.
And part of that is I want to talk to a doctor about possible weight loss surgery.
She could do that in Kuwait, by the way. I had not really a friend, but kind of someone I knew through the weight loss surgery community who had hers done in the Middle East. It wasn't in Kuwait. She was working in Saudi at the time. I think she had her surgery in Saudi. So Chantal could definitely get it done locally, but she's in a much worse condition. I can't see any surgeon in any country right now agreeing to operate on her.
And psychiatric help. Yeah.
She's had the opportunity to pursue that from anywhere, and she hasn't done so. She could get psychiatric help in Kuwait. There are plenty of international doctors. She would probably need a referral from a GP that she can't necessarily get without her civil ID, because she can go and deal with acute issues by turning up at a clinic, but longer term care like that is harder to pursue if you don't have a proper legal place there.
Proper diagnosis, all that, proper medication.
Like her proper medication and proper diagnosis doesn't count now. No, I want to go and see what I've actually got. Dude, what the doctors have told you is true. You're on medication for your physical complaints at least, whether you're compliant or not. But she's had a diagnosis, or many diagnoses, feels like C's is better there, from different doctors, and she's done absolutely bunkus about it.
To get my diabetes under control as well. Certain medications for diabetes, and also the surgery, of course, is...
I wonder how many medications she's discussed with the doctor that gave her the medication she's on. What this whole video sounds like to me, basically, is she lives in a constant state of the grass is always greener, yeah? So she went to the other side of the fence, and now because wherever you go, there you are, she is well over the honeymoon period now. Reality has caught up with her, and now that the routine she has to be on for her eating in order for her to follow the doctor's instructions in Kuwait involves her being awake in the day and having to face both physically and metaphorically the harsh light, then she wants to go back because maybe the grass really was greener in Canada. Maybe despite all her problems, she can go back to hiding from it the way she used to, or she can access things that will help her to forget about it, like weed.
Covered in Canada, so...
Covered for people who pay their taxes,
also, I just feel like I need family when I'm going through some of these hard times.
When was the last time she reached out to family? I'm stopping it so much, I do know, sorry. When was the last time she reached out to family to go through hard times? Her family all but disowned her during NADA. I'm sure they tried to talk sense into her, but her whole life they haven't been able to manage her behaviour in any way from a young age up until now, and they know it. And they're at the point where they're like, well, cutie, you're going to do what you're going to do. I think she wants to go back to Canada because it's easier to deny, it's easier to escape. I don't know what she thinks she's going to do when she gets back there, but this is just Kuwait going sour. Instead of her being able to run from her tax problems, she's now decided, okay, well, these problems are worse, let's run from these. Now, technically, she's been out of Canada long enough to lose her coverage, but apparently that's very grey. because I'm guessing she's probably registered at her mom's house. So according to the government, if she's been hopping on tourist visas, she hasn't actually left. So I would imagine she could access care, whether she should or not.
You know, when you're sick, you always want your mom. So, other than that, nothing, you know, I'm going to miss my family here greatly. I'm going to miss my husband, whom I love very much. But it's just a lot, and I need to be in Canada to deal with these things, as I realize. So, I'm not sure when, but someday I will just be in Canada. And
remember that even if she didn't go right now, it does sound like she's going to do it very soon, but even if she didn't go right now, she would have to leave the country by, was it January 10th? At least mid-January, I think slightly earlier, because I think she came back into Kuwait on October 10th. Remember, they were waiting in Thailand for quite a long time. 3 months is the visa, so it's not going to be later than that.
you'll see me there. All right, until I can get my health under control.
So, never.
I can't escape it anymore, so...
Well, at least you used the correct word. It was trying to escape.
Yeah.
God, the cat hates
Alright,
her.
here it is. Cottage cheese, low fat with mustard.
I know it's a bit of a cheap shot to say I bet she's eating more off camera, but you know, I think that a lot of these realizations also tend to come post binge. I wonder how much chocolate she's got left.
And carrots. Baby carrots. Mix it around. Cottage cheese is very expensive here.
It does tend to be.
It doesn't hurt my stomach. It's not salty like the other cheeses.
I thought cottage cheese had quite a lot of salt in it. Maybe not. Maybe I'm misremembering that. It's been a little while, to be honest.
$8 for
I would not be
a
surprised.
16-ounce container of cottage cheese.
Whether that's US or Canadian, I would not be surprised.
So I'm gonna eat this with some water, and then I'm gonna go to the doctor. So I'll see you soon. Bye.
Hello, beautiful girl.
That is awkward.
What you waiting for? Oh, hope you feel well, baby.
I feel like Foodie must know how bad it comes out, but she can't say no to him. She's on the blood pressure medication now, right? Because otherwise that reading is surprisingly normal.
Oh, 66.
Yeah.
I can't remember what her home scale said, to be honest. Fair play to her, though, and I will say, is that she said she was going to weigh in at the doctor, and I would call that a real weigh-in. I don't know how she's that way, but I would call it a real weigh-in. You can already tell this is going to be a lot. I don't know what the doctor said to her, but I can't imagine it was good.
Hey guys, so I'm gonna try not to cry, but I'm in a really weird mood.
I don't necessarily think it's weird, given how bad her health is, for her to come back from the doctor where she knows she's not going to get good news and to be upset. I don't necessarily find that weird.
I'm so depressed. Like, coming back from the doctor, first of all, being out in the day like this in the sunlight makes me worse depressed. I hate it.
I 100% believe that. She's always hated being around people. And the bigger she's gotten and the more difficult she finds it, the more of a spectacle she feels like she is, the more she's hated it. So having to go, and worse, to face the reality of her health and having to be around people and be reminded that she doesn't control that reality, that she can't show herself through a filter the way she does online, she doesn't get to block people's stares if they irritate her. That's got to be a lot to deal with because most of her social interaction is done like this, where she is 100% in control of what she puts out. Now, considering what she puts out, it's hard to believe she's 100% controlling it, because who would? But she is. She's completely the one pushing all the buttons to control what she presents, for better or for worse. She doesn't have that control with real people. And the more she's forced to face it, the harder that's going to be.
I like the night. And, you know, everything is busy. It's overwhelming. I feel overstimulated. If I look off to the sides because I'm trying to think of what I need to say.
That's fine. I mean, if it's easier, she could have written a script for it maybe so she could include everything. But it seems like she's just come back and turned the camera on. So fair enough. Take a second.
I just feel so apathetic. I don't care about anything right now. Like, I don't care about anything.
I don't think necessarily that's true because she wouldn't be reacting like this if she didn't care. But I think what's getting her here is that the reality she cares more about the food. And she should be more scared about that than she is, which is why I think potentially this is post-binge, because that kind of clarity tends to come with having consumed a lot of food and realize what you do to yourself. But also maybe whatever information she got from the doctor might be giving her the same reality check.
It's like the only thing in my life that I feel that makes me happy is food.
She said that before. It's a sad way to live, but she has admitted as much before.
And I know that to get better and live a longer life, I have to change drastically. And dealing with the emotions that I have because of that is so uncomfortable that I just don't feel like I can. Sometimes I don't feel like I can do it.
Unfortunately, you're out of options here because you have to do it regardless. The truth is the truth regardless of what you do with it. So you are here. There's no backwards. Yes, she backpedals. Yes, she could show up in Canada and be like, nope, I'm getting high and we'll never talk about it again. Or she could end up staying there and just never talk about it again. She can try and erase it, but the facts are the facts. And so long as she's staring at them, that is what she has to deal with.
Or that I want to do it.
She is going to be high the moment she gets back to Canada. If she could access weed now, she would be slumped over in her chair slurring. I think in the back or the front of her mind, for all the talk of, I have to go back, I have to get healthy, she will be jet lagged for at least a week after she arrives. And where on earth is she going to go? She's already told us that staying with her mom isn't really an option. She kicked Pete to the curb, and God forbid she drag him back in. If he were to come back into the picture, he would deserve everything he got because he's making choices. I'd like to think he'd have enough self-respect not to do it, because having been burned by her once before now, but he's not overflowing with self-respect. But her credit isn't going to get her an apartment, and I'm not sure her earnings will cover as much as she thinks it will now. I think returning to Canada and all the responsibilities she tried to abandon there is going to be a whole nother dimension to what she's already dealing with.
When I feel like this, I feel like I just want to be passive in life and not fight and just lay down.
You just want to hide. We've seen that.
And just...
Remember when when Nada tried to take her for a walk and she holed herself up in her room having a fit for 2 days because she might have to walk outside for 10 minutes? She's not known for confronting hard things.
It's the best way I can describe it. So the doctor wants to put me on another pill.
Is that because she didn't like the metformin?
I told him, my blood sugars have been still in the 200s. My blood pressure is good. It was like one. If that person beeps one more time, I swear.
That's the rage we saw with the reactors in the last one, because again, the emotional regulation, she's trying soft, she's trying pity, but she's still bubbling under there. She doesn't want to deal with this. It's making her angry at life, more so than usual.
Like when I'm in this mood, everything is overstimulating. Like somebody beeping their horn is driving me crazy.
I wonder if she's still on that hormone medicine. Because starting new medication will generally require an adjustment phase when it comes to how it interacts with all the other medication, but that's assuming she's even taking it. I don't know.
You know, I know that I have to bring those numbers down.
Does she say what the other
But
pill
like I
was?
said,
didn't
right now,
hear
I
it.
just don't really care. I just don't care.
She cares enough to be doing the things she's doing, but I think she doesn't want to deal with the fear. God forbid something be real.
About anything. I just feel really tired of everything, fed up.
Well, then do something about it. If you're fed up with the situation, do something about it. Which I suppose she's going back to Canada, apparently, so. But I think that's just another way to run away.
It's like gonna be so much hard work.
Surely living the way you do is also hard work. Like, it's a different kind of thing. And I know you say, well, no, she eats out 3 times a day. She indulges herself in every possible way. Yes, she does. But Chantal is in a hell of her own making here. But it is a hell. It is a bottom of the barrel, look what I've done to myself kind of situation. Losing weight is hard in a different way. It's a different kind of misery. But it can lead to something better. But she will never see that. She'll only see the discomfort.
Anyway, that's how I'm feeling, you know. I don't want to come on here all the time and smile and just be fake about it because I'm not very happy right now.
Well, mission accomplished.
Even getting mental health help is just overwhelming. Like, I don't even know where to even start. I don't know.
She already said she could do something online. Like in Kuwait, you could go to your GP, you could look at mental health providers and psychiatry within your insurance network, and you could get referred. Or you could call up, you could call around. I don't think she has the status for any of that. And that's what's causing her the problem. And she doesn't want to admit she lied. So, I think it's best to go back to Canada to be re-diagnosed by all the same doctors for all the same things that I've had for 4 or 5 years now and still do nothing about it because weed will also be available. Except live presumably in a shittier place because I'm not going to get approved for anything and I don't have the amount of income I did to throw at it now. Because presumably, part of her income, if Salah didn't just disappear, part of her income would still have to go to Kuwait because they'd have to cover bills.
I have a lot of thinking to do.
You know, a therapist can help you with that. I don't mean your audience, I mean a therapist. Go online. If nothing else, do an online session. Just get some of your thoughts out of your head. You never will, but you know, you consider this your online session.
I was watching Life by Jen documentary, like Mr. Snowflake. He did videos on me too. And I like bawled through the whole documentary on her because
I can believe that because up until now, she's been able to deny her medical concerns. Up until now, Jen was probably the comparison she made within herself where you're like, well, I'm not in a great position, but I'm not in that position. And I'm guessing that cuts a bit close to the bone now because she could easily be in that position.
I know people think she wasn't a nice person, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. You're not a nice person either, but that's not really the point.
We all have moments. We all are sometimes not nice people.
Yeah, with Foodie it's more than sometimes, but that's really not the point here.
But she went through a lot of suffering. Like, she went through a lot of abuse. She went through a lot of suffering. And unless you have the type of issues with food, eating disorder, food addiction that we have, you can't know the type of hardships. It's like food is literally, it can be. It's so addictive.
I'm not denying that. Food addiction is a thing. Like, I had to have surgery to help me control myself, and it's something I still struggle with. But Foodie has had time and time and time again to access help that she has rejected fully. So, do I wish she had gotten that help? Yes. Do I think she'll get it even now? No. I think she'll take the pill she's given, but I think she just wants out of her current situation. She'll run back to Canada and she'll create for herself a whole load of other problems while studiously ignoring the less comfortable thing she needs to do.
Like drugs, but unlike drugs, we need food to survive. And it's just so hard. And it's scary because I'm on that path.
I mean, right now, she needs certain types of drugs to survive. I'm not talking the illegal ones, but if she just came off medication, she'd be in big trouble. For someone who hates to be reliant, for someone who will scream up and down how independent she is, catching an actual real-life unfiltered view of where she is has got to be quite the wake-up call. Will it cause her to change? Probably not.
And people on the internet are just so... in life in general, they're so disgusting towards people with issues like this. You don't get it, you know?
That can be true. That can... some of the heinous comments I have seen, yeah, that can absolutely be true. But actually, a lot of us do know. A lot of us do know. And even if we haven't been successful, even if we have been, what Foodie is really hated for has never really been her weight, but her complete denial of any possibility of following through with anything that might help her in a way that she professes to want help, or in turn says it's none of our business. You can get away from the internet. You cannot monetize this, and then none of us would be here. But at the end of the day, it's not about whether people are mean or not. It's you taking control of your own life and you taking responsibility of your own actions. Because that tends to be what people have the problem with. There are many people online who are heavy and still enjoyed by many people. Just you are not one of them. Why do you think that is?
Just don't get it.
It's not because we don't get it. It's because we get you too well.
I don't even get it.
It's just so hard to understand. I'm so special. I'm so exceptional.
Anyway, I'm sorry that this video took like a bit of a turn for the worse.
We're used to it with you, my love. I will say this is as much as she's able to reflect, I think, and as much as she'll ever be able to reflect, but the shame here is that the fear and the realization that is galvanizing her to make this video will never be transformed into a productive action. She'll run away to somewhere else and she'll find a different hole to escape into. And she'll go back to her old habits as soon as she gets there.
This is how I'm feeling today. So I think I'm gonna just log off for the day.
You probably should have done that 12 minutes and 36 seconds ago, which is how long this video is.
So that's my weigh-in.
Did she put her weight? Oh yeah, she did. God, I'd forgotten. It felt like a year ago.
So now you know I'm not lying about the scale. Anyway, I don't...
Gotta get that in. A lot of people thought she was. It looked like a legitimate weigh-in, I'll say that much. And there seemed to be people behind catching the weigh-in and writing it down. So I believe it was legitimate now. But if that's so, I've got major questions about how her physicality appears to have changed.
Care what these irrelevant people think, but I'm just... There you go. Okay, that was easy to show you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
If only you'd shown us before then, eh?
I'm just going to end the video here.
Okay.
And I don't know, that's it. See ya.
Okay, and that's as much as we have. Now, as I said in the beginning, do remember that she could change her mind in an hour, delete this video, put up a community tab saying, no, I don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm so happy with Salah. This could just be a view grab. It could serve more than one purpose. It could be true and a view grab. We don't really know. And the only thing we are sure of is that she lies a lot, she changes her mind a lot, she doesn't regulate well. So anything could happen after this. But as I said, regardless of whether this is the reason it happens or not, she will have to leave the country in just over a month. So it may as well be for this reason. At least she can then say, oh no, it wasn't my status, I really needed help, because really she does, but I don't think she's going to hear anything different in Canada than she heard in Kuwait. She just won't have to pay for it as much, which is probably going to be another reason that people aren't too pleased to hear about that. But I have a feeling, given that it's December, given that it's still paying well, given that it is quite a dramatic situation if she goes running back to Canada, I am sure we will hear more from her soon, whether she stays or not. So thank you for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.